What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel, and welcome to another 2020 college football schedule breakdown and record prediction video. Today, I'll be doing another ACC team. I'll be doing the Louisville Cardinals. The Cardinals are a team that I'm pretty high on this year. They play in the ACC Atlantic, which is with Clemson, which is a problem because Clemson, it's going to be hard to pass them, so they don't have the best chances of winning the division and going to the championship, but I still think they can be a pretty good team this year. It's a pretty favorable schedule, in my opinion. They have a very good offense. In my opinion, one of the best trios in college football, with quarterback Malik Cunningham, running back Javian, Hawkins, and wide receiver Tutu Atwell. All those guys are elite players. You can make an argument that all of them are top 10 in college football. Maybe not Malik Cunningham, but the other two, Javian Hawkins and Tutu Atwell. You can make an argument those are top 10 in college football. You can make an argument Malik Cunningham is top 25 in college football. So that trio on offense is just so good. And their defense is getting some good talent back as well. So that should be pretty good. The Louisville Cardinals surprised a lot of people last year. They ended with an 8-5 record. They did get a bowl win in the Music City Bowl against Mississippi State. They went 7-5 in the regular season and then beat Mississippi State in the Music City Bowl. So now let's get into this prediction. Went 8-5 last year, like I said, and their recruiting class was ranked 42nd in the country. Not terrible. Could be better, but it is not terrible. Week 1, they started off with, in my opinion, a pretty easy game. It's against NC State at home. NC State had a serious down year last season. People expected them to get worse, but they just got so much worse than people expected, and it will probably be more of the same this season. That's what I think. Maybe NC State can improve a little bit, but maybe that's just at the end of the year. Towards the start of the year, I don't think NC State will be anything special, and maybe even towards the end of the year, don't think they'll be anything special. In my opinion, one of the worst teams in the ACC probably won't make it to a bowl game, and this should be a pretty easy one for Louisville, just because they're the home team. If NC State's at home, maybe they can give Louisville a challenge, but Louisville is at home, and I just really do not see them having a challenge in this one. Week 2, they have a very tough game. It's against Clemson, and I just can't see Louisville winning this game because they're on the road. Maybe if they're at home, they've got a chance, but they're on the road against Clemson. Clemson is just too good for me. Even though they're losing Justin Ross, of course, he's out for the season with, I believe, a neck injury, if I'm remembering correctly. But they are losing Justin Ross, but will still be a very good team. I think Louisville can make it close. I think that is a possibility now that Clemson is losing Justin Ross, and because Louisville's just a good team. I think Louisville can make it close, at least in the first 3 quarters, but maybe Clemson starts to pull away towards the end. But I just think that Clemson has so much talent. Louisville is a very talented team, don't get me wrong, but Clemson is so much more talented. One of the most talented teams in college football. It's really between them and Ohio State for me. So I do think that Clemson will be fantastic this year once again, and I just can't see Louisville winning this game. Week 3, pretty easy game. It's against Murray State. Murray State's an FCS school, and I just don't see Louisville having a problem in this one, especially because they're at home. That's an easy win for me. Week 4, they play Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, this is going to be harder than Murray State, but it still shouldn't be too hard. Western Kentucky normally wins about 7-8 games, and will probably be around that this year, maybe even get better. But I just don't think they'll be able to, keep it close against Louisville. Maybe they'll be able to score some points, but I don't think they'll keep it close, especially with Louisville being at home. Week 5, they have their third in-conference game. They're playing Syracuse on the road, their second road game of the year. Now, Syracuse wasn't great last year, and personally, I don't think they'll be that good this year again. But I could see this being a close game just because Syracuse is at home, and Syracuse is normally pretty good at home. They've had some upsets at home in the past. Maybe they can get an upset here. Their quarterback is Eric Dungy. He's someone I think could be pretty good this year. So if they can get their guys working well together, maybe Syracuse get an upset, but I feel that Louisville is the safer option, safer bet in this game, and I do think that they will be able to win. Week 6, they go on the road again, but it really shouldn't be much of a challenge. It's against Boston College. Now, Boston College, I don't think will be great this year because they're losing A.J. Dillon, their running back, who was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. He was basically their entire offense. He was one of the best running backs in college football. Boston College had one of the best running backs in college football. I believe it was the best in the ACC, if I'm remembering correctly. They lost some more talent along with Dylan this year, so it will most likely be a down year by Boston College standards. Sure, they still do have some good players. They have some players that can fill in the holes that they lost, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to fill in the hole that A.J. Dillon left at least this season. So even though that Boston College is the home team in this one, I don't see it being much of a game. Week 7, they got a bye. This is a pretty well-placed bye. It really splits their season in half. It is coming off a pretty easy game, though, which is the only problem. But it's still not a terrible place bye, and I think Louisville will be pretty happy with this bye. Week 8, it's a very interesting game. They're playing Florida State. Florida State will most definitely improve this year. They have some great playmakers on their defense, and they are bringing in Mike Norvell. Norvell is a fantastic coach on offense, so Florida State's offense, I think, will definitely improve this season. The quarterback is James Blackman. He could be pretty good. They got Tamori and Terry as a wide receiver, though. It's a pretty good offensive duo there, and then their defense is just really good. All kinds of pieces there. So Florida State should definitely improve this year, and I think Florida State will struggle early in the year, but I think they'll get better later in the season. So this is a tough one to predict because, Louisville is at home, which is going to help them, and Louisville's coming off a bye, which is why I am leaning towards Louisville. If Louisville isn't coming off a bye, I could see it going to Florida State. If Florida State's at home, I could see it going to Florida State. But just because Louisville's at home and they're coming off a bye, and I would say Louisville is better than Florida State anyway. I do think Louisville will win. I think it can be close. Should be a fun game to watch. Should be an entertaining game to watch. But I'm just leaning towards Louisville, just because of, coming off a bye at home. So it's, like I said, should be a fun game, but I do think it will be Louisville. Week 9, another very interesting game, playing Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is bringing back quarterback Hendon Hooker, who should most likely play the full season this year. I think he can be a very good quarterback. Virginia Tech's an interesting team. This is a home game for Louisville, which is huge for them, but Virginia Tech is still a really, really good team, so it could go either way in my opinion. I think these teams are similarly on talent. Both teams pretty good. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. It could go either way, in my opinion. Louisville is at home, like I said, which is huge. I'm really looking at the quarterback battle in this one. Who will play better, Hendon Hooker or Malik Cunningham? Both pretty good quarterbacks at scrambling, but I kind of think it can be Louisville because of their offense, but then again, Virginia Tech has a good offense, but also good defense, so this game could go either way. Should be a fun one. Week 10, they have Virginia on the road. Virginia, I think, still can be okay this year, but they are losing basically their entire offense, which was Bryce Perkins. He had over 3,000 passing yards, I think, and he was their leading rusher, if I'm remembering correctly, as well, so their offense will definitely step back. And maybe their defense can improve a bit, but it shouldn't be anything fantastic. Maybe Virginia can get an upset here because they're the home team, but I think it will be Louisville. Week 11, they're at home against Wake Forest. And some people might just not really think about this game as a tough one, but you need to remember that Wake Forest is getting Sam Hartman as their quarterback. Sure, they are losing a lot, but Sam Hartman can be a pretty good quarterback in my opinion. But I just don't think that Wake Forest will be able to keep it close against Louisville. Louisville is the home team. Louisville's the better team. Maybe Wake Forest can put up some points, but I think it should be Louisville in this one. Week 12, not sure if they're going to win this one. It's on the road against Notre Dame. This is going to be a tough one. Notre Dame is losing talent, definitely, but they are still bringing some back. Should probably be a double-digit win team, maybe just close to that, but probably top 10 in college football again. Maybe they get top 15, but somewhere around that. Should definitely be good again. And it's tough to give Louisville the win here. If they're at home, if Louisville's at home, I could give them a win. But, Notre Dame is the home team, and I just feel like you have to give Notre Dame the win in this one. And then Week 13, they have Kentucky. This is, of course, a pretty big rivalry. Kentucky had a huge win over Louisville last year. I believe Kentucky put up like 40-something points. Louisville put up like 13. Wasn't even close. But this year, I think, should be a lot closer. Two very good teams, Kentucky and Louisville, and especially on offense. Kentucky has a pretty good rushing attack. Bringing Terry Wilson back should be pretty good this year. And then Louisville just has that trio, Tutu, Atwell, Javian, Hawkins, and Malik Cunningham. That should be a fantastic trio. So this is a very interesting game. Louisville is the home team, which is great. I expect it to be a very good offensive game. It could definitely go either way. At the moment, I am leaning towards Louisville, though. I just feel that Louisville's it's going to be too much for Kentucky because Louisville's at home. I just think that trio will be able to get the job done, but. Louisville's coming off a road game against Notre Dame, which I think they will lose. So it's going to be interesting. I do currently have Louisville winning, but it could definitely be a loss. Now, as I always do, I'll go through each game once again. I'll give my prediction for who I think will win. Week 1, NC State. I think that's a pretty easy one for Louisville. Week 2, again, at Clemson. I just don't see them winning that game. Clemson's just too good for me. I think they'll beat Murray State and Western Kentucky. I think they will beat Syracuse and Boston College, even on the road. Then they have their bye. I think they will beat Florida State. I originally actually had them losing this game, but they are coming off a bye, and I just think that they will be able to get the win. Week 9, Virginia Tech. I'm going to have them losing in this one. Sure, they are the home team, but Virginia Tech is just such a good team. So is Louisville, but Louisville's coming off a game against Florida State, which should be tough, so I'm going to take Virginia Tech. Week 10 against Virginia. Originally, I actually had them losing this one, but I'm going to give them the win because I just think that Virginia is losing too much, which was Bryce Perkins, and just some other players as well, just losing too much. Wake Forest, Week 11, I think that's a win. Maybe if Wake Forest sets home, it's more of a game, but because Louisville's the home team, I think they will win. Week 12 at Notre Dame. I can't see them winning this one either. If they're at home, they could definitely win. But Notre Dame being at home, I think is too much. It can be close, but I just think Notre Dame will win. And then Week 13, I do currently have them beating Kentucky. They could lose without a doubt, but I do have them winning. And with all this taken into account, I have them having a 9-3 record this year. This definitely could be worse than this. They could drop the game in the end of the season to Kentucky. They could drop to Florida State, and then maybe they get upset by Syracuse or maybe even Boston College or Wake Forest, someone like that. So they could get an upset or Virginia as well. So worst case for me, 6-6, losing to Wake Forest, probably Virginia. 3 games I have them losing on, obviously. The 3 other losses. The 3 losses I had them, and then Kentucky, Virginia, and Florida State. That will be the worst case scenario for me. I do think they will make a bowl. I don't think they'll go 5-7 or worse. But 6-6 is worst case. If it just doesn't work out, if Malik Cunningham doesn't play well, Javian Hawkins doesn't play well either, and if Tutu Atwell has a down year, maybe they won't be great. Best case scenario for me is 10-2. I just cannot see them beating Clemson and Notre Dame because both those teams are at home. But I do think it still will be a pretty good season for Louisville this season. That trio on offense is going to be so good. You got Malik Cunningham, who can throw the ball but can also run the ball, which is fantastic. Javian Hawkins should be a fantastic running back. He was really good last year. I think he'll be good again. And then Tutu Atwell was really good last year. He should be good again. So that trio on offense is really what you're looking out for. But this whole Louisville team is just fantastic. So I expect a good year from them. I have them at 9-3. I think it should be around 9-3 and 8-4 for me. But those are my thoughts on the Louisville Cardinals for the season. What are your guys' thoughts? Tell me in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe for more daily NFL and college football content. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next video.